Hi everyone, Miss Megan here. So today we're going to start out our time together by playing a little game. We're going to play a little game called Simon Says, okay? So you're probably going to want to be standing for this, and if you don't know how to play Simon Says, here's how it works. I'm going to give you jobs or activities to do by saying Simon Says. So for example, I might say Simon says do 5 jumping jacks. So since I said Simon says before what to do, you would do 5 jumping jacks. Now, if anytime during the game I say something without saying Simon says, so example, if I just say do 5 jumping jacks and you do the 5 jumping jacks, you're out of the game, okay? Now, if I say do 5 jumping jacks and you don't do the 5 jumping jacks, you stay in the game. All right, so to summarize, you only do what I say if I say Simon says first. Okay? All right, let's give it a try. Are you ready? Okay. I think our first one is going to be Simon says, let's make it easy. Simon says touch your nose. Touch your nose. Good. All right. Simon says pretend to sneeze. But be sure to sneeze into your arm, like in your elbow, right? Because we're being healthy. Ready? All right, Simon says, pretend to be a monkey. Simon says, snap your fingers, or at least try to. Simon says, jump up and down 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Show me the number 2. If you showed me the number 2, you're out of the game because I didn't say Simon says. All right, for those of you still in it, we'll keep going, okay? Simon says, act like a chicken. Simon says, touch your elbows. Simon says, wiggle your ears. Stick out your tongue. Did you stick out your tongue? If you stuck out your tongue, you're out of the game. All right, last round. If you're still in it, here we go. Simon says, clap your hands 3 times. Simon says, pretend to be a crocodile. Simon says, tickle yourself. Simon says, make a silly face. Stop making your silly face. If you stop making your silly face, you're out because I didn't say Simon says. So congratulations to everyone who's still in the game. I promise this has to do with today's story, and I hope you had a good time. In today's story, I want to tell you, remember last week we were talking about baby Moses, and at the end of our story, Moses was found by the Pharaoh's family. So the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, kind of is how we're thinking of that. His family decided to take and adopt Moses into theirs and care for him. They raised Moses, and Moses turned into a young man. Now, when Moses was a young man, he made a horrible mistake, and he felt so badly about it that he decided to leave home. He went out into the wilderness. Okay, he was out there. He joined a tribe, a new family, and one day, as he was out in the desert, he was watching his father-in-law's sheep. Okay, he was kind of being like a shepherd, right? So he's watching the sheep, and all of a sudden, way off in the distance, he sees something burning. So he goes over and he realizes it's a bush, just a bush burning out in the middle of the desert, but it's not burning up. It's kind of like if you saw Sunday when I set the $5 bill on fire and it didn't burn up. It was like that. So Moses went to investigate, and suddenly God was talking to him through this bush. How incredible is that? And God gave Moses a job, okay? So if you remember, Moses was in the Nile River as a baby because he was a Hebrew, he was an Israelite, and his mother was trying to save him because the Pharaoh wanted all the Hebrew babies killed. So God gave Moses the task to go back to Egypt, to go back to Pharaoh, and to request that his people be set free because the Israelites were actually slaves in Egypt. That's a pretty horrible thing. If you don't know what a slave is someone who works for another person but doesn't get any money for it. And generally they're treated pretty horribly. So Moses was all of a sudden given this huge task, and he had no idea how to accomplish it. But God promised that he would be with him through it all. Now, in our game today, and like in our story of Moses, there were two things that you had to do in order to win the game, right? You had to listen and obey, right? You had to listen to my commands, you had to make sure that you were hearing the right thing, and then you had to do what I was telling you to do. That's exactly what Moses had to do in our story. Moses had to listen to God to figure out what he was saying, and then he had to go and he had to do it. Next week, we'll find out if Moses accomplished what God was asking him to do. So I hope that you join us back here next week. Have a super, super week with your families, and we'll see you soon. Bye.